All right, thank you all for coming again. This is the fourth debate that I've been to and that Sandy has been to. And they've been well attended, and it's exciting to see so many people engaged about our new city. It's also nice to see so many familiar faces in the audience. And I kind of wanted to talk about my history with this cityhood movement. It started nearly 2 years ago when I was approached about the possibility of having a city of Brookhaven. And I initially was a little skeptical, like many folks, and because I thought maybe, oh, it's another layer of government, the taxes are going to go up, how are we going to do this, just another layer of bureaucracy. And once I started looking into it and getting down to the details, I saw that it could work. So a year and a half ago, I was on the board of Citizens of North DeKalb with some of the people who were in this room, and we raised $30,000 to finance a study to see if the city was even feasible. The job of that board was to finance the study, then disseminate the results, not to take a position pro or con. But the feasibility study came back and said the city was feasible. Then after that, shortly, a couple months later, after the study was disseminated to the voters, Brookhaven Yes was formed, and I was elected president of Brookhaven Yes. And you saw Jeff Keller here, he was vice president. See Mary Ellen over here, Stan Siegel, Clayton Conroe, a lot of folks. We were on a bus down to this whiteheads over here. We were on a bus down to the state capitol this past January and February, going down there with stickers on our lapels saying, "Let us vote." And these folks, these hardworking folks who you have in this room, along with other volunteers, fought in the legislature to get us a charter for this city that would allow us to cap our property taxes, outsource many of our local services, and have a small, efficiently run government that provides higher customer service at a lower cost. And that's what the culmination of tonight is all about for me, is that effort that I've been working on for so long. And I think it's very important that we understand that when you go to the voting booth on Tuesday, who's been working on this the longest and who has the most knowledge about what the city needs to be to happen.
I want to thank our hosts tonight, particularly Steve Levine and Joe Earl, and thank you all for coming this evening to hear us speak. And I would certainly like to hear what you think as well. I have a vision of our city that I'd like to share with you tonight. I want to make sure that our parks are connected by sidewalks and bike trails so that we can move around our city easily without having to get in our cars and drive everywhere. I also want to make sure that we make the proper investments in our park system so that they measure up to our standards. I want to make sure that we get our police department started right. My opponent said he wants to create our police department just like Dunwoodie's, which has experienced an alarming spike in crime over the past year. I want to create an open and transparent government that is accountable to the citizens of our new city, not vendors and lobbyists looking to make money. I have not taken a single dollar from the vendors and lobbyists. In fact, I've returned vendor and lobbyist contributions. J. Max Davis has accepted over $20,000 of vendor and lobbyist money to the ballot committee he led and the current campaign. I want to make sure that our Brookhaven tax dollars are spent here in Brookhaven, and I'm proud to have the support of Larry Denise, Deborah Anthony, and the only currently serving city councilman, Jim Iyer.
Okay, we'll move to District 1.
Hi, I'm Kevin Fitzpatrick. This is not the first time I've spoken from this stage. I was a student here at Oakport. I came here in the 70s to attend college and graduated from here, went to law school over in Decatur, and then came back over here to live. Patty and I have lived in our house on Triple Creek Court and East Nancy Creek Drive for the past 21 years. We've raised our 3 daughters here. We've been very active in our community in a lot of different ways. Most recently in getting traffic calming instituted in the Gainsborough subdivision. Been very active in our church, Our Lady of the Assumption, where I was very active on the building committee and led the effort by the parish to lobby the DeKalb County Commission to change the ordinance that was preventing them from building this church. There was an ordinance that DeKalb said they had to have it be on a major or minor thoroughfare in order to build a church. And well, they had been there for 50 years, and there was no way to move it to a major or minor thoroughfare. And we were able to get the law changed at that time to make it possible. I've also been very active here at Overport University. I've been a member of the Board of Trustees of this institution for the past 8 years, and I'm very proud of Overport and the Board of Trustees. We have taken this institution from a place of extraordinary financial peril 8 years ago to a place of remarkable prosperity today. I think my experience on the board lends to what we need in a city council. I want to have a city where we can say that living in Brookhaven is a source of pride, that it is the most desirable address in Atlanta, that it is the safest address in Atlanta, and that the government is the most transparent government among all the municipal governments in Atlanta. That's why I'm running, and I'd like your support.
Rebecca J. Williams.
Hey, I'm Rebecca Chase Williams, and I too would like to thank Oglethorpe and Reporter Newspapers. It's actually kind of odd for me to be on stage because for 35 years I've been a journalist, and so I'm usually down there in the front row taking notes or taking pictures. But I've stepped across this aisle because I really felt like I could make a difference, and I felt like I came with the best experience, a proven record of leadership, and really the right values. I too, along with Jay Max, was involved in the early creation of the city. As a reporter, I felt like it was an interesting idea to think about the formation of the city, but that we needed facts. So I was on the board of Citizens for North DeKalb, as Jay Max described, that created the feasibility study. And then I had a front row seat at the legislature and have been reporting on the issues for quite some time. I've been an extremely active person in my community. I have been the president of my homeowners association, which if any of you have ever done that before, you know is heavy lifting. But I've enjoyed it, and it's given me a chance to be very involved in the community. I've probably been involved in every issue and fight in the last 20 years in this area, from the sellout of the Lake Current subdivision, which my subdivision of Burnwick backs up to. I actually look out on Auto Trader now. To the expansion of Marist, to the building of the substation, to potential widenings of roads. I've been on the board of zoning appeals. So I know what the pressures are. I know what the fights are that we have ahead and that we've already fought. But what I think I bring to the table is an ability to listen to all sides, to really mediate and bring both sides together, to create a real win-win situation. And I've been able to do that in my community and on the board of zoning appeals. I'm proud of the work I've done in my community. I've been on the board at St. Martin's, a number of other places, and I just feel like I can bring the right values as a fiscal conservative to get this beautiful new city started right.
Thanks, Kevin Court from District 3.
Good evening, everybody, and my thanks also to the Brookhaven Reporter, to Oglethorpe. Again, my name is Kevin Quirk. I'm running for council in District 3. My wife, Lori, and I have lived in Brookhaven on the same street, Mabry Lane, for the last 19 years, and we've got 3 children. Shortly after the city vote came up, yes, I started exploring ways I might be able to serve, and several people who I have worked with on neighborhood issues and on my neighborhood board encouraged me to run for council. Because in the wake of the vote, they said, you know, you're a very balanced person. You were always able to sort of balance competing interests and forge compromises. And so they encouraged me to run for council, and I had the idea in my head as well, so I decided to go forward with that. And I examined what I was interested in and what I would want to accomplish and what I thought the citizens of Brookhaven would want to see accomplished. And I wanted to see very, very high-level services for the city. I wanted to see very good zoning. I wanted to see us be good stewards of things like the roads and the parks. So these were the things that drove me into the race. Briefly, asking you for your vote, you should probably deserve to know some things about me. I came to Atlanta at age 15. I actually graduated from Riverwood High School over in Sandy Springs. College, I went to Notre Dame. I then came back here. Many of you probably remember Georgia Federal Bank, which is not in existence anymore. But I worked there for 2 years. I then went to law school and finished law school at the University of North Carolina. I worked in Washington with the Justice Department for my first few years out of law school. and then returned to Atlanta, and I worked as an associate at King & Spalding for a couple of years, and then joined my three brothers, and we now have our own firm and have had for the last 18 years. We are approximately a 15-person law firm. So that's a little bit about me, and I look forward to fielding any questions you have for me tonight.
And finally, District 4, Joe Gebbia.
Thank you. Joe Gebbia. My background, just for purposes of introduction, is both corporate and private business. I had 15 years with companies like Standard Oil Company of Ohio, Procter & Gamble, Mobile Chemical Division, which moved me to Atlanta in 1981. We lived out in Gwinnett County. We moved to DeKalb County in 2003 over into the Pine Hills area. And we did that when our children entered college, and we decided we wanted to move into the downtown area. Did quite a bit of searching of where we wanted to be, and this was definitely where we wanted to be. So I was neither pro or con on the city until much later, and almost up to the vote time. And I attended a lot of the meetings. My wife was in a position where she said, you know, I know what happened in DeKalb County, and I'm not dissatisfied. Why would I want to go to something where I don't know what I'm going to get the result? And I said, well, there's probably more to it than that. So I started to attend a lot of the meetings, and I found out there was a real opportunity for smaller government to have a better say in what we can be doing here as a city. And I voted yes. And then the vote came out, it passed, and I said to my wife, well, watch, probably going to get screwed up. She said, stop complaining, go do something about it. And the same day, I got an email from Mike Jacobs saying, if you're interested in running for city council, you got to go down and register. I said, I think I'm going to jump into this. I want to see what happens. I worked hard to earn this spot to sit at this table and talk to you. I've knocked on about 85% of the doors out there. And I could list a lot of the things that I've seen, things I want to try and accomplish. But I think my role really is to listen and to be an advocate for the people of my district. Now, you people are savvy, you're here. There's a very important vote coming up. Very few people are going to show up for this. Very few people are going to make a decision who's going to be running the city. And it's very, very, very important that you get out and talk to your neighbors and get those votes cast. We need to have good representation on this because we have to get a very good start. Thank you.